Hello. Today is special because tonight we have to kind of hurry through the review and the puzzles because at 11 p.m. I'm going to participate in the Crazy House qualifier at chess.com and for their championship. It's a 2-hour tournament, Crazy House, and I'm looking forward to that, of course. But I wanted to get this in as I promised myself to follow all the games from the World Chess Championship. For example, today was game 6. I didn't watch a single minute, didn't have the time. So this course is really something to look forward to, well, get the understanding what has been played and so on. So we are going to dive right into it. As always, I need to do a quick introduction what the course is about. It is by International Master Andras Toth, and he is saying, don't just watch the World Championship, learn everything you can from it. That's why he provides us with like 3-4 puzzles from the games. They're all, to me, brain twisters, like brain fryers. It's World Championship level, and it really takes me time. Tonight I won't take that much time because I need to finish like in an hour. So we are having the World Championship. Everyone knows about it, and it's a free course here. And it will be packed full of instructive takes, daily puzzles, and Toad's hot takes from Singapore. He's there in person by himself, of course. So with this, we'll dive right into it. Sorry, I have to do the reviews. I will do the review from the first 4 games pretty quick, so please bear with me if I do a mistake here. So the reviews, of course, are part of Chessable's MoveTrainer, and it's super nice for getting a deeper understanding. And for me, my best learning technique is repetition, and this is exactly what the MoveTrainer does. It helps me to learn the stuff that I didn't know at first take, because these puzzles that I didn't get right are presented more often than the ones you do correct. So I click on review, and then we go through these pretty quick, I think. So white accept the challenge. How should black proceed? Here it was about keeping the pressure. Keeping the pressure. Keeping the pressure. Was it the rook move? The knight move? No, it was the queen move, I think. The bishop move. Yes, that is correct. So first one was all right. And here it was, yes, I notice now. Okay, here. Now the queen move. And now we are into some kind of mating net, also good. And what should we do now? Here. Can I remember this one? Yes, I do. Okay, but yesterday I got it super wrong. It's from game 3 now. And here I think we took, yes. And now I forgot. So what was needed now? This one I don't know anymore. What should we do? White to play? Ah, now I get it. He plays b4 after I play the bishop, I think. No, incorrect. Ah, damn. Okay, this one, the pawn c4 was under attack. Is now under attack, correct. And b5 invites even more trouble. Yes, now true. Okay, yes, now he plays this. And then he said it was a pretty obvious move. To me, it was not at all. But yeah, this is good. So we're already down at review 12 before we can go to the game number 5. Here, black's last move was definitely an unfortunate call. Here it is about tracking down the bishop. think, no, didn't start with that one. Yeah, I needed to, my fault. I needed to block his retreat square on f5. And that's what I do with this move here. Yes, forgot it. Okay. Now I can push. No, still not. First have to take. Okay, next I take. But now I think it's time. Maybe it's not. Yes, and now, what was it? It was forcing away the knight. I think it is the bishop move to f2, was it? I don't really know. Because, yeah, I still think it is. Yes, correct. And now I can take it, and why can't I take it? A brilliant way to remove the defender, but also keep the bishop pair. Black now loses a piece by force. And here I would like to go back, but I don't have the time today. It will be presented tomorrow in the next review, and that's why I'm going to. Good luck all now. Okay, watch close, close. Okay. So, again, I'm going to push through here, and it was next. I need to go here. He takes, and I go here. Okay, so that's that. 11 moves. Here, this was also difficult, and I don't think I remember well, but was it the knight move? Yes. And now there was something which was unexpected, and that was I cannot take the rook because then I lose the bishop. Was it just taking the rook here? Forgot. Nope, incorrect. Yes, it was the in-between move. That's a concept I still have to remember. In-between moves to really get out of the way. Okay, nice. Yes, and now without hesitation, I just take here. And here we have, what was this one? It was forcing away the rooks here first, then here. And now, was it also an in-between move? I don't know anymore. It was taking with the, yes, it was taking with the bishop here. Correct. And now I don't take right away. It's now the in-between move. Yes, correct. First taking this rook, check. He has to go out of the way, and then I can take the other rook. Okay, this was all right. Next variation. We are now at game number 4 here. Black prepares for a5, a6. Yeah, this was what we did yesterday. So black prepares for the a5, a6 push by covering c6. How should we respond? I think we still go for the push. Yes. And now, what was that? What was needed to be played here? When I take a look here, it's always taking a look at my second monitor to see what's happening in chat. Okay, what was that here? I promised myself to make quick decisions today. It had something to do with the pawn break here. Yes, it was. Now I remember. It is b5 because that leaves the d5 pawn open. And now I take it with the knight, I think. No, I don't. This one first. And white wins material. Okay, so this one. Next variation, I said we are going to rush through this. Okay, this poses an interesting problem to which black has a very nice solution. Yesterday I didn't see the solution at all, but I remember it was this way. And then we took. Yes, and now we had something. Yes, it was with bishop takes placed on d3. But how did we do that to get the bishop on d3 and having it protected? Yeah, it was the pawn move, I think. Yes, and now we are free for the bishop. Nice. Exactly. So here it was just about what to take with, and here I got it right away. Just take, go out of the way, and you still have the right for castling. Okay. Black challenges us with the same idea. What is the best way to meet it? And I got that right yesterday, so I should be able to get it right today too. And what was it? Yeah, the danger, of course, is to get our queen here. Okay, I take with the bishop. Let's see if that works. Yes. Now I can take with the... Hold on. So if I take with the queen, he comes up with pawn c5. And there was an in-between move then. And I think... Well, first I can take, I think. So yes, and now there was this in-between move to get this out of the way. Yes, I think that was knight to b5. Yes. And now I am able to... What was it? The danger now is, of course, taking the knight away and being forked by the bishop on d3. So, how was this done? Yes, now I get it. It was just by taking the away. Yes, correct. So he cannot attack the knight anymore. Good. Okay, so the ancient sticky situation. So this was, I remember, because it was this one here. And now I am able to attack his bishop. That was good. And here, white to play. What was that? It is out of game. It is game 1. It is a wonderful mate combination by taking with the bishop, then checking, but not by taking. It is by checking in general here. And now he had to go out of the way with a wonderful checkmate by the knight. Yes, correct. So we are going to go to the next variation. Also a mate combination, and it starts by a check here, a check there, and check here and there. Okay, I didn't get that right earlier on. And here we are met by a situation, and that is solved like this. Final review, and that is white to play. What was this and how was it done? Okay. It's also a mating net with an in-between move. White has a huge attack going on. It needs to be check. Correct. So now he has this escape square that is e6, and we need to take it away from him, and we can do this by moving the pawn here. Okay, now we just go for the check. He has to go there and checkmate. Exit, we're good. Alrighty, so this is done, and now we can jump straight into game number 5. We click on learn, and we are in game number 5 now. Gukesh is playing the white pieces, and this is the position that Andras Toth gave us. And now, instead of just watching a stream from someone commentating and having the engine on and everything, here we have to do thinking for ourselves, and that's why I like it so much. It's like learning from the current World Chess Championship, and that's so great. That's what I like so much. So we are going to read. This move allows white to carry out a nice positional operation. How would you proceed? So, white to play. Sorry. And first I always do the following. Don't laugh. It is king, king, rook, rook, bishop, 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 knight, 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 knight. 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, 7. So material is equal. And then I look for bad pieces. So it looks like our knights on b1 and b8 have not been developed yet. So that should be one go. The d6 bishop is not protected. And my pieces are kind of fine. So we have some kind of nice positional operation, and for positional moves there's always the saying, what is my opponent's plan? That is one. And the second one is do I have a bad piece that I can put to a better position? And the third question is, can I exchange something with a better outcome for me? So, what is my opponent's threat? Taking my knight on f3 would be bad, because then I would just have a not so good looking pawn structure, and I need those pawns to protect my king. So a super normal move would be developing the knight by also protecting my knight on f3. So b1, d2 would be all right, I think. And I just see we could do the same thing to him. So if we just take his knight, then he would also have that pawn structure. So I take, he is retaking, and then I have this free jump for me. Then I could just go away. So I think right away without thinking that this is the best move, because if I take his knight, he has to retake, and then I could just jump away with my knight. So I keep my 3 pawns in front of the king, or I could choose to just take the pawn on h7 because the defender has been removed. So now I need to probably make a decision about this. So I take, he retakes. I'll jump away. Where to? I don't jump away. I just take that pawn. He takes my knight. And then with the tempo, I can just play my developing knight move. I think that's it. As I don't have too much time to date, again, I'm playing the inner circle of the ancient puns. Best of luck. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to play later on the Crazy House qualifier for their championship on chess.com at 11 p.m. So in 45 minutes. That's why I'm kind of in a hurry. So we'll see, and I'm going to take it. And it is correct. And now I'll take the pawn, and that is not correct. So instead, it was jumping away. The key idea, white immediately clamps down on the f5 square. This one here, and the f5 square then is a lovely outpost because it's protected by knight. Yes, I'd have an outpost, but oh well, okay. Oh, that's mean. I thought, oh, okay. Hmm. Yeah. This time here and now probably. Still not. Okay. So here. And then I'll probably, yes. Rerouting to e3 is the key, I believe. Okay, let's read what he said. Bishop g4. Okay. So in the game, knight b d7, the development was being played, okay. But if he would have played bishop g4, then this move allows white to carry out a nice positional operation. How would you proceed? We got this one right. White wrecks black's pawn structure. Doubled pawns in this case weighed in heavily in the evaluation, as it is not only the pawns that become weaknesses, but the squares in front of them too. Okay, so here we had the take, and now knight h4. The key idea, white immediately clamps down on the f5 square, securing a lovely outpost. What happened? h5, knight d2. White develops the knight, but it is actually important to note that the knight is en route to a very delicious square, and that is e3, I believe. Yes. Knight d7, and now we need to find one final move that will secure white with a firm advantage. It is knight f1. The knight is headed for e3, from where it will exert pressure both onto the tender d5 pawn and the f5 outpost. Okay. Right. So, next one. Would have allowed the Indian challenger to play for the initiative. How? Isn't it the same thing? I take the knight. He retakes with the knight. I jump. Oh no, this doesn't work because then he still has the bishop there and can take my g4 pawn. So how can I play for the initiative here? My idea would be to play the knight to e5. If he takes with the knight, I have a fork with the pawn. If he takes with the bishop, I'll take with my pawn. And he has to move away his knight. And he could, of course, take my pawn. So the pawn here is so bad. Gukesh is white. I'm black. Knight here. Knight, bishop takes. Bishop takes, and then I need to retake, and he can take that. I don't have enough time. I still think this is a nice move, so let's go. It was correct. And now I have this one, and I should... I'll take it. He goes, oh, he can still take my pawn. So, do I just... Don't really know, so I just go with my gut feeling, and that is take. Okay, that is good. Now he got this one, and this is protected, also protected. So, haha. If I attack it with h3, then take gone, gone, take. Ah, okay, he can take the. Okay, I would need to go f4 here, but if yeah, it's okay, f4, and then I think I get his knight. Let's see. It's an alternative move, so I did a correct move, and this probably is also good. Yes. And now he has a retreat square opened up. What to do now? Do I still chase it away? I leave it as is, but I cannot move the knight. Okay, I just go through this really quickly, otherwise I won't make it today. So I just do this on this alternative move. I just go here for an attack. It's incorrect. Ah, this one. Okay, why? I go here. He takes, I'll take, and we're good. So what happened here? Knight hf4. In the game this was played. Knight hf6. Knight hf6. But knight f4 was played. How does he go? Where? How? So I thought there is an... Ah, here. Okay. Oh, it's from here, not from there. Okay. So this is being taken. And... So how would have allowed the Indian challenger play for the Shah? Knight e6. I got that one right. A very exciting pawn sacrifice that gives an entirely new wild character to the game. Here we have bishop takes. We got this one. We got this one. White now needs to demonstrate that there is sufficient play for the pawn. What would you do? It is just knight. I got that right. And this move might look like a simple defensive measure, but there's more to this move than meets the eye. The g4 knight is now in mortal danger. Okay, h5. Now white needs to continue his energetic play to maintain the initiative. How would you proceed? e6, f takes, rook takes. And despite the material deficit, white has the upper hand due to his fantastic piece activity. Yep, okay. So, perhaps the most critical point of the game. What is the correct recapture for white? And as I don't have time, I will just go with my gut feeling. And my gut feeling tells me I take with the rook. That was correct. And now... I don't like to create that passed pawn by taking, and I still have the bishop pair too, so I need to do something else. And what would I do here? I mean, the b2 pawn is attacked, so I would just go b3. Nope, incorrect. It was taking, okay. So that was my first idea, but neglected because I didn't like him to have that passed pawn, and I need this as a babysitter for the pawn. Okay, so what now to play? Now it's b3, I feel. Somehow I'm not familiar with this position. I just fear that he plays c3 to protect the to attack the defender. If I take, he has a free way to promote. If I don't take, he can take mine and move away. So if I just interrupt it by b3, Yes, correct. Okay. So just read through it. Perhaps the most critical point of the game. Rook takes e5. Good move. Only this way. In order to understand the subtle, don't have the time for that. And now comes the key idea. b3. Yes, got that one right. The key move to keep the b6 knight at bay. White has no difficulty holding this. Okay. So we have the final puzzle out of the World Championship game number 5 before we are able to watch the video. So if you're in chat and have an idea, let me know. It is black to play. And what has black to play here? I would just attack the pawn. And that would be done by f6. So without further ado, I just give it a try as I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry because I'm playing the Crazy House qualifier for the chess.com championship at 11 p.m., which is in half an hour roughly. So that was not correct. This one not the best move. Yeah, now he has to go knight a5, knight c4 had been played. Ding misses his best move, yet another critical slip by the world champion. Okay, so an a4 would have been the best move. Okay, and now f6. Yes, and now I have the e file, which is nice. But first, will I first retake? I think I should. But I'm tickled to play e8, e2 to defend the knight and then run through. So I'm probably going to do this right away. Let's see. Yes, it was correct. Now, of course, I have to take. Yes. Now it's defended. Now I can just... No, I cannot. Why this one? I don't know. Okay, this one first. Okay, let's read through it here. Okay, so rook b1. And now comes the key move, f6. I got that right, and I thought I would play this first, but first I had to remove the defender of that file. Exactly, the move forces white to surrender a pawn, as otherwise the black pieces would get super active. So he takes, rook e2, the point behind f6. The rook inflicts terrible damage across the second rank. He takes, I take, knight goes b3, and now bishop h3, but I didn't know why. And black has a monstrous initiative for the material, and the white pieces are completely tied down. Yes, I have this as... Oh, but why is this necessary to play the bishop? I don't know. I'm in a hurry again. So sorry guys, I will take a deeper look at this in the review tomorrow. Now we are going to take a look at the video from Andras Toth about the recap for the game. Let's go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to round 5. And this is indeed the World Championship match between world champion Ding Liren and his challenger Gukesh Dommaraju. And I'm really putting a lot of effort into speaking with enthusiasm. But let's be honest with ourselves. today's game was a head scratcher, and I'm definitely giving here the visual cue too. It's really hard sometimes to try to figure out the strategy or the respective strategies rather of the players, their teams, and the way they approach individual games. I suppose that one should always look upon certain choices not as an individual decision, but on a more global level, because here we are looking at an entire world championship match where two players are facing each other all the time. So there are a lot of constants in the equation. And so obviously, in order to get some advantage, to get somehow ahead of the other one psychologically, chess wise, whatever, you need to try to throw the spanner in the works. Nonetheless, despite listing all these things, I always come back to the conclusion that I cannot ask a question to which Team Gukesh's answer should be, ha, the exchange French. And that was the answer. I'm not sure what the question was, apart from, hey, out against the French today. Yes, I know that this is a trendy thing nowadays on top level. In fact, this very position was on the chessboard between no less than Hikaru against Abbasov. So we are talking here two world champion candidates, no less. But still, I can't help but say I don't think that this was a wise choice. But nonetheless, we are here to look at this game, and that is exactly what we are doing here. A little talk about bishop c2. Obviously, c4 releases tension, but it does win a tempo on the bishop. Bishop e2 is a choice that allows white to undermine this pawn chain, and now black is forced to take because b5 is met by a4. However, the bishop on e2 is quite passive. After b3, black doesn't have to respond to this at all with b5. They can simply take on b3 and castle, and black has no problems whatsoever because of the passive bishop on e2. If we are, however, go bishop c2, the problem here is that after b3, we don't have the pressure on the pawn, and so black can even ignore the challenge on the c4 pawn and just develop their position, have a marvelous outpost on d5. Thank you very much. Black is already better. So with bishop c2, Gukesh basically removed queenside play from the equation, but that left very little room to find meaningful play.
I don't know if you know, but I find it so funny because Andras Toth, he is making fun of himself. He is pronouncing it like he is already better. And if he talks of the center, he's saying the center. And everything with an AH behind that. So I find this kind of funny. And sorry for interrupting.
Plans play on the rest of the board, which is exclusively kingside and center. So queen e2 was played, all the heavies got traded off, and basically chess started on move 12 when we played bishop g5. Now here I would like to mention a little thing. A lot of students, amateur players, club level players struggle to distinguish between times when allowing a double pawn is okay and when it's not. Now, more often than not, in my practice at least, and in my experience, it's okay to allow double pawns. I will show you a standout position where it's not, so that we can work from there. So for example, here if I play bishop g4, take on f6 creates a position where white is clearly better. Why? The reason why is because the double pawns are isolated. And that comes with additional downsides, quite a number of them. The most important one is that they are easy targets, which wouldn't be the case if this pawn was up on g6. In this case, in fact, this bulky pawn formation would be nothing but an advantage as far as the structure is concerned, because it's very compact, they cover a lot of... It's all good. Number two, and this is perhaps an even more important point here to mention, is that because of the pawns are isolated, the square in front of them is an extremely delicious outpost for white, and in fact white should immediately go after that outpost. In this position, bishop takes h7, takes, and then knight c6 would lead to a very drawish position because of the opposite colored bishops and a quick king e7, rook h8 would sufficiently put pressure on white. So instead, knight h4, dodging the double pawns, going for the new outpost square, h5, and now comes the final detail, knight d2, a seemingly nothing but a developing move type of story, but there is a lot more to it than that, because this knight, friends, is en route to the best possible square on the board, which is going to be e3, from where it is going to hit the d5 pawn, aim at dropping on f5. It is just the perfect piece formation. Every single white minor piece is well placed. White is clearly ahead. Of course, Ding would have none of this, so knight d7 was played in the game, knight d2, h6. Now, at this point, I was sitting in the VIP room surrounded by lots of dignitaries and, of course, the old world champions such as Vichy and a few other grandmasters as well. We were having a bit of a conversation, and then I went to analyze the position with a couple of very keen amateurs. And I mentioned to them that according to the engine, h6 is the best move here, and it actually is clearly better than the rest of the black moves available. And as I was saying this, Ding plays h6. Just was saying this, and I mentioned this little anecdote simply because I would like to mention, or rather make a case for the fact that although I was slightly, I guess, criticizing Team Gukesh for the opening choices, but at the end of the day, these guys play incredibly high-level chess, day in, day out. Yes, there are a few slips here and there and a few mistakes here and there, but the overall impression is that by far really, really impressive, super high-level chess. And I think that this needs to be recognized, acknowledged, and appreciated, because we are treated here to some really, really, really awesome chess. So bishop drops back to h4, knight h5, immediately going after that bishop, getting ready to be capturing it on g3 with the knight. And so white here went with a quite wild idea, that was g4. Now, I have read on Twitter a couple of comments about this. Some grandmasters critiqued it, and I belong to those who also think that this was a rush decision. Objectively speaking, not bad. Again, typical Gukesh stuff. I can't see a world where Magnus Carlsen plays g4 here, right? And I am merely contrasting his styles and way of play, which is incredible intuition, Magnus, versus, I don't care how ugly it is, if I can prove that this is right, it's right, which is Gukesh. And indeed, g4 just sticks out like a sore thumb. The f4 square is chronically weak, but objectively and tactically it works because of this spin. And so Gukesh went with it. And frankly, I can't really critique this move more than what I have done, which was that it just looks yuck. Knight b6 and g5, adding insult to injury if I want to follow that train of thoughts that I started with the looking ugly moves, because with this, white definitely surrenders himself to two isolated pawns. But again, there is a fair bit of pressure now on, and the pin is definitely a concerning issue. Bishop d7 played. By the way, oh, I nearly forgot my favorite idea here. I wanted to show you something. If instead of knight f4, black plays knight f6, and this is, by the way, definitely the way to prove that sometimes Gukesh's outlandish looking, weird looking moves could be the way to win the World Championship title. Because here, for example, after knight e5, black's best move is knight e8, incredibly passive, incredibly ugly, whereas the greedy bishop takes pawn takes knight g4 actually allows white a significant edge. Watch this. Knight f3, protecting the pawn, and threatening h3, trapping the knight. Lo and behold, from that symmetry, we are looking at a position where white is down material, but the black pieces are scattered all over the shop, and 3/4 of them are actually very poorly placed. And the final quarter, if I may carry on with this fraction analogy, is just about to be trapped. And so h5 is forced. And then after e6 takes and takes, the activity of the white pieces is off the charts. I can just simply go after the pawn. I can set up checkmate threats here. I can bring a knight into e6, potentially via g5. It is a really, really unpleasant position to play with the black pieces. So, yeah, g4 was ugly, but it did have a fair bit of oomph and gunpowder to it too. So, knight f4, bishop g3, knight b6, g5, takes. Basically, we are headed for a very, very boring simplification, except that just when you would expect it the least, there is a massive pressure on white here to find the correct recapture. And these are those positions where lower rated players like myself, compared to the players, often go wrong, because we know that there is a challenge here and it needs to be solved. And as soon as you think about, oh, I'm sure I'm going to retake with the bad one, you are going to jinx yourself indeed. So what's the story here? It is actually quite... So Gukesh here decided to take back with the pawn, which was a slight mistake. Instead, what he needed to do was to take back with the rook. Let me show you what the problem was here for the challenger. After takes, knight d3, pawn d3, pawn d3, and here Gukesh played f3. I'm going to show you first b3 because this is analogous to what could have happened if I had taken with the rook on e5, the correct move. Now black has rook c8. So let me show you very quickly how it should have gone. Rook takes, pawn takes, knight in. There's hardly anything better. Take, and white plays b3, and he goes, thank you very much. Your b6 knight is an absolute tragedy. We both have really weird pawns. The d3 pawn is passed and very far advanced, but it doesn't represent any danger whatsoever because it's blockaded on a dark square. It is gonna fizzle out into a draw. Now, same position with rooks on. Check out the difference. Take, b3, rook c8. And tada! The c3 pawn is now a weakness, something I have to attend to. If I play rook c1, there comes a new problem, d4. And now I'm hurting on the pin like mad. Not only that, but once I play c4, there comes the beautiful justification of the whole plan, knight d5. And now black is clearly better. The knight is going to penetrate via c3, wreaking havoc in the white position. That is how much a difference a wrong versus right recapture can make. Also note that here f3 was played, and just at the critical point where out of nothing Ding managed to get a little bit of a pressure, a little bit of a push in the position, he plays knight c4 and virtually offers a draw, and the game just fizzles out into a completely dead draw, opposite colored bishop ending. Why am I saying it? Because right here, out of nowhere, I would like to stress, he actually had this fantastic idea, or rather, he had the possibility to find this fantastic idea of knight a4, hitting both of these pawns, rook b1, and f6. And now we are going to see the precise reverse of the pawn sack idea that I showed you previously for white, when we gave up the g4 pawn and then the rook penetrated on e6 in the end. Watch what happens here from black's perspective. ef, rook e2. Takes back, thank you very much. Knight is hanging, and after bishop h3, black is down 2 pawns and is potentially very close to be winning. And that is because the white pieces are utterly disconnected, passive, aimless. The white king is also completely cut off along the second rank, and you can easily see that this black rook is just about to begin an absolute feast on the second rank. So this was a really awesome for Ding to play for 2 results. And my impression, and I'm going to go on a bit of a subjective tangent here, is that somehow it appears to me that Ding is sometimes missing opportunities where he could push for a little pressure, or sometimes he even sees that he has got a slightly better position. Textbook case was game 2, where he just opted not to push for it. Not sure what it is. This also could be part of his strategy to not tire himself out and only push when he definitely feels that he has enough oomph. But perhaps it is, there's maybe something more to it. I often feel that he's running away from games in the sense that he doesn't quite exploit the possibilities that are left in the games. And this is again a good time to bring up the analogy with Magnus Carlsen. He would definitely try to squeeze these types of positions to death because there's nothing to lose and a lot to gain. But I'm going to respect the world champion, his strategy, and obviously his play, which is far superior to mine. I think that I managed to find a few interesting points even in this game, despite the fact that it was a fairly straightforward draw. So here comes round 6 tomorrow in 24 hours or so. Very excited to see what opening surprise the Chinese Grandmaster and his team is going to cook up. I have been guessing so far before every single round on Twitter, and of course I got every single one of them wrong.
Twitter.
So let's see if the trend continues. On that note, I'm going to let you go, guys, but I look forward to seeing you again for the analysis of round 6.
Thank you, Andreas. Really appreciate it. So again, I didn't take a look at game number 6 today. Didn't watch a single move. So tomorrow is going to be interesting, but I'm sure it's going to be spoiled somewhere. So now I will shut down this stream, as in 12 minutes the Crazy House qualifier for the chess.com Crazy House Championship starts, where I'm going to participate. It's a 2-hour tournament of 3+0 Crazy House, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I hope, of course, you're staying with me. So I should be up and running again in like 5 minutes, I think. So thank you for watching.